Poor Bennett, he had the pedestal knocked from right under him, all the attention he was getting. And there was two girls, and everybody's looking at two girls.
Well, did you know you were going to have twins?
No. I didn't go to
What
doctor.
were you expecting?
I was expecting another baby, and I had the flu, and I didn't go much to the doctor. When I got there, I said, "Oh, wait," and the nurse says, "Don't make such a fuss. How would you like to have two?" I never thought of it. I didn't even think she was hinting. I said, "Get it over with." So I had two. When they were born, George said to the doctor, told me a twin girl. She says, "Come on, I had another boy." Doctor says, "I got boys, I'll take the girls."
Wow, twins.
Yeah, I didn't really know. I didn't go much to the doctor. I'm terrible.
It must have been really amazing to have the kids and have everybody fuss over them.
Two, you know.
Was it
now
going to take a lot out of your family for, I mean, having two kids at once like that?
it was terrible. It was hard, but it was okay. My parents were wonderful.
Now, you said Bennett was a good kid.
He was wonderful and
How about
easy
the
to raise.
twins?
Twins were terrible. Don't let them know that. They fought with everybody in the alleys. They beat every kid up.
Really?
Because
they were fighters?
they wouldn't take it. If somebody teased them, they'd hit, you know. They were terrible kids.
Sounds violent.
Very independent, you know. There's strength in numbers, girls. You know? They're two. They weren't afraid of any kid.
So they're tough.
Yeah.
Did they try any tricks or anything? Take advantage of their being twins?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
They were two against the world. If you couldn't buck one, you were bucking two. You couldn't fight one, you were fighting two. So you just didn't battle. It was a losing battle when they were together. They didn't fight much with each other, except they tore up pillows and feathers all over our house.
Why didn't you ship them out? Boarding school.
Yeah. They were good kids to a point. To a point.
Was discipline tough? Was it hard to discipline the kids?
No.
Talk to me about
Not too bad.
Raising kids.
No, it's not like today. No. In spite of the fact that they fought the kids in the alley, they were pretty good kids, all three, I must say. They weren't demanding. When they grew up in the Kashmir era, they never, ever said they had friends who were very affluent. They never demanded anything. They never competed with things for, and they had lovely, lovely friends. And it was no, really, I think I was very lucky. They didn't give me a hard time. Fight, all kids fight. But they really did. They really didn't.
And all your kids grow up? And
yeah, they were all three really. I never had a hard time with anything. Sometimes they threatened to leave at the age of 4. They'd pack a suitcase, we'd open the door, they'd go back home. But they were good. Nothing really dramatic.
Was it tough raising the kids in the economy? Or were you comfortable?
We weren't uncomfortable. We didn't have a lot, but we lived in at that time we were almost all about the same, so. And as I said, my kids didn't demand what others had, never. And I never believed in competing for things with others, never. And they were good that way, very good. They never said they want this, friends have, never. Bennett didn't want me to spend on anything. I mean, he went to work during high school. I'd say, "You need a jacket?" He said, "No, I'm working." He was, you know, really. He'd pay for his own clothes all through high school. He'd work. He always worked.
Were you proud?
He worked in a bank as a teller when he was in high school, and he wore a white shirt and tie and be all dressed. He worked in a fine men's shop.
What did you expect of your kids when they were growing up? Did you have any expectations Talk about
I
what
thought
you thought
Bennett-
of the future.
I thought Bennett was going to pharmacy. And we had a chance at a store that we didn't take it because he didn't want the pharmacy. That was one of the first stores they opened up near the Mycaries Hospital. And we had a reputation for we were listed in Wall Street for being good bill payers, so they looked us up and they wanted us to open that store up. I thought Bennett would go into it. Bennett didn't want it. That store, I think, not so long. 5 years after, it sold for $250,000. But Bennett didn't want the pharmacy. And I said to George, if not going to be happy, what good is it? He hated it. I don't know why. It didn't work much there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why your father hated the pharmacy. Maybe the hours, that his father wasn't home much.
So your children are growing up, and then along comes suitors. You have some guys and some girls coming around.
Bennett brought every girl home that he dated. He always brought, and he's smiling aside, she cute, Ma, she cute. Every girl, he always brought the nicest people home. And he always wanted the meetings the boys at his house, always. And he had friends who had lovely homes.
What about the girls? Did they bring guys home?
Yes, yes.
Tell me about the girls and dating.
Well, let's see. Sandy met her husband on a blind date, and I think she said, that's it. He didn't have a chance. I always tell Richard, he didn't have a chance. He says, now you tell me. And Harriet, friendship with somebody broke up. It took a while before she got married. But they did bring dates home always.
How did you feel about them dating?
I liked it. They had nice friends, and I felt it's important. I never said you gotta come home at 12 o'clock. I always thought if you're gonna be bad, you can be bad at 8. So I never pinpointed you gotta home this hour or from a party or from anywhere. I never. I gave them a free rein, really.
So you weren't tough?
No, I don't think so at all. Not tough at all. I wasn't tough on them.
Were you always into baking and cooking and doing things in the kitchen?
Yeah, mostly.
Tell me about
Mostly.
that. Start by saying I was always...
Well, we had to. We lived different. You couldn't afford what you do now, so you did everything. And I did live with my parents because my brother died and I couldn't leave them. I really wanted to live by ourselves, George and I, but we couldn't leave them. It was too hard for them after my brother died. It was really...
So there was what was the environment in the family? Who was living there? What was going on? How was the situation?
I think we just ran the house. My mother was domesticated, and I got that. I belonged to a few things that I would go to, organizations for charitable, and I would work, and my father and my brother-in-law had a currency. My father had helped my brothers, so I would go the 5th and the 20th of the month, and big payroll days. You know what a currency is. And that time is the beginning, I think we were for. So I would work there, give the girls off, or and they would, I think payroll were just twice a month. And so I would work there with them in the South Side. Summer we'd go away. A couple of years we went away for the summer months to Michigan. We'd schlep the whole thing. Kids and the family and stuff like that.
You have a lot of home movies. Papa George was into filmmaking.
He loved taking pictures. I think you have some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got that.
How did he get into movies?
He just liked taking. First of all, he sold cameras. Why wouldn't he have it? So he always had the best what was available at that period. And
as far as movies. There's a lot of really cool movies of your vacations.
Yeah, yeah. He loved to travel. He loved travel. He loved it. I wasn't great about traveling, but because he liked it, I'd go. Once I got there, it was fine. I never liked to leave the family because my parents are worried whether they'd be proper care for the children. But if he wanted to go, we'd go. So we'd go. We went to Hawaii. We took a liner back, which was delightful. It was the nicest cruise. We were to London, we were to Israel, we were in Canada, we toured the New England states. We were in Colorado, which was quite an interesting, by car. What else? We're in London. Mexico City, Mexico Islands, we toured. I guess that's about it.
No, there's much more.
No.
That was just the beginning.
No, I'm getting tired. I'm an old lady. Aren't I an old lady? Aren't I entitled?
Let's talk about having grandchildren.
They're the best. They're the best. They're the interest on everything you have. And they're the best. And am I lucky? I've got the best in the whole world. You couldn't find them better anywhere. They're just beautiful. You are. You're all so beautiful. And you're all so good.
And the next thing you know, you have great grandkids.
Yes. Oh, that's not, you can't even describe that. No way you can describe having great grandkids. No one. I can't wait for your parents to have children. But that's another subject.
Already did
grandchildren. I know. That's what I said. See what happens? I'm getting senile, girls.
What happens? You get senile, but you are a whippersnapper. We have always thought of you as being a strong matriarch, and
just lucky. Really, if you're healthy, and you're content with what you have, don't wish for other things. Be happy with what you've got, and if you're satisfied, then you're happy.
Well, you've lived a very long life.
Yes, I have.
Tell us how old you are now.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I've got to do it. Okay, so I'm 90. What do you want? I went to get my driver's license, and he looks at my old one, and he says, I don't believe it. He looks at me, and he saw the age. He said, I don't believe it. Really? He said. I said, yes. That was kind of nice of him. It made my day.
Well, looking back on 90 years, there's been ups and downs.
Always, always.
Let's talk a little bit, not a lot, but let's talk a little bit about the valleys, because it makes a complete life.
You have downs. You have downs. You have downs. I don't even ever look at them, though. I never look back at the things that are not so great. Maybe that's what makes me what I am. You know? They're gone. Why don't you just remember the good? Well, we've had bad times, sure.
Grandma, talk about around your marriage and what was going on at the time you got married with your brother and the family.
Yeah, we had. He was very ill. They didn't have equipment to detect what was really wrong with him. And that was a year. And
who are you talking about now?
My brother. Your grandfather was very good to my brother. We took him to